Meet Jasmine Crockett. Bold, fearless, unstoppable. She's the Congress woman who doesn't hold back, who calls out injustice even when it scares everyone else. From fiery floor speeches in Washington to viral moments that shake the internet, Jasmine is a name everyone is talking about. But behind the headlines and viral videos, there's a story of struggle, courage, and a rise that no one saw coming. A young girl from St. Louis, Missouri, would grow into one of the most talked about voices in American politics. This is her story, the story of power, persistence, and everything in between. She was born on March 29, 1981, in St. Louis, Missouri. Jasmine Felicia Crockett grew up in a home filled with faith and strong values. Her father, a pastor and teacher, and her mother, a postal worker, taught her the importance of standing up for what is right and helping others. From a young age, Jasmine showed curiosity and determination. She attended Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, and later, Rosati Kane Academy, an all-girls Catholic high school. Even then, she had a quiet fire inside her, a sense that she wanted to make a difference. She wasn't just a student, she was someone who noticed when things were unfair. She saw how society could be harsh, and she promised herself she would fight for justice when the time came. These early lessons in family, faith, and fairness would shape the woman who would one day take on Texas politics and the halls of Congress. Jasmine Crockett arrived at Rhodes College ready to follow a path most would consider safe. She planned to become a certified public accountant, a stable and respected career. But life had other plans. Early in her studies, a professor told her she had too much personality to settle for a desk job crunching numbers. At first, it was a comment she laughed off, but it planted a seed, a hint that her true calling might be something bigger, something more challenging. Then, the world around her forced her to confront injustice in a very personal way. Racist hate mail arrived in her mailbox, and several of her black friends found their cars vandalized. The school struggled to respond, and the uncertainty of the situation left students feeling unsafe and unheard. In the midst of this, the Courtroom firm, a well-known law firm specializing in civil rights, stepped in to help. For Jasmine, seeing a black female lawyer stand up and fight for her friends and classmates was life-changing. It showed her the power a lawyer could wield, not just in court, but in defending people during times of fear and confusion. That experience shifted everything. Jasmine realized that law wasn't just about rules and paperwork, it was about justice, protection, and giving a voice to the voiceless. She left Rhodes College with a new purpose: to fight, to stand up, and to make a difference wherever the system failed those who needed it most. From that point on, her journey toward law and public service was unstoppable. After graduating from Rhodes College, Jasmine Crockett took her first step into the world of law. She enrolled at Thurgood Marshall School of Law, but later transferred to the University of Houston Law Center, where she earned her Juris Doctor in 2006. Passing the bar that same year, she was ready to put her new skills into action, but she didn't start with high-profile cases or a fancy office. She became a public defender in Bowie County, Texas, representing people who couldn't afford legal counsel. For Jasmine, this was more than a job. It was a mission. Every client was someone whose life depended on fairness and justice, and she treated each case with relentless dedication. But she didn't stop there. Driven by a desire to make a broader impact, Jasmine later founded her own law firm. She handled personal injury cases, yes, but she also devoted herself to pro bono civil rights work, representing Black Lives Matter activists and others who faced injustice. Her reputation grew as someone unafraid to stand up to powerful systems or fight for those overlooked by society. Even during the long hours in court and behind piles of paperwork, Jasmine never lost sight of why she chose this path. Her work wasn't about money or status. It was about making a real difference. These years in the courtroom shaped her voice, honed her courage, and prepared her for the bigger battles that awaited in politics. She learned how to speak with authority, how to confront injustice directly, and how to turn passion into action. It was the start of a career defined by fearlessness and purpose. In 2020, Jasmine Crockett took a bold step from the courtroom to the political arena. She decided to run for the Texas House of Representatives, aiming to represent the 100th district. It wasn't an easy path. She faced an incumbent in the Democratic primary, Lorraine Birabil, a well-known figure with her own strong support. But Jasmine was relentless. She campaigned tirelessly, connecting with voters on the streets, in community centers, and at town halls. Her message was clear. She would fight for justice, equality, and the people who were often left unheard. The primary runoff was tense and closely watched. Voters saw a candidate who spoke plainly, who didn't shy away from tough questions, and who had the courage to challenge the status quo. When the results came in, Jasmine had narrowly defeated Birabil, a victory that surprised some but confirmed the strength of her connection to her community. With no Republican opponent in the general election, she officially won the seat, becoming one of the youngest black lawmakers and the sole black freshman in the 87th Texas legislature. Her time in the Texas House was short but impactful. Jasmine didn't just show up, she made her presence felt. She filed more bills than any other freshman, tackling issues from criminal justice reform to accessibility and fairness in government. She co-founded the Texas Progressive Caucus and the Texas Caucus on Climate, Energy, and the Environment, forming coalitions to push for meaningful change. These early victories proved that Jasmine Crockett was not only a rising star, but a force to be reckoned with. A woman willing to take risks, speak boldly, and fight for the people she represented. In 2022, Jasmine Crockett took her next big leap. House of Representatives aiming to represent Texas's 30th congressional district. The seat had been held for nearly 3 decades by Eddie Bernice Johnson, a respected figure in Texas politics. When Johnson announced she would not seek re-election, Jasmine acted fast. She declared her candidacy just 4 days later, seizing the moment with a message of progress, justice, and representation for a district that had long been majority-minority. Her campaign was fierce. She faced tough competition in the Democratic primary, including well-established politicians. But Jasmine's experience as a lawyer, her reputation for speaking fearlessly, and her connection to the community gave her an edge. Voters responded to her vision and determination, and she emerged victorious in the primary runoff. In the general election, she won decisively, securing her place in Congress. Once in Washington, Jasmine quickly made her mark. She was chosen by her colleagues as the representative for the Democratic freshman class, a sign of the respect she commanded even among seasoned lawmakers. She didn't shy away from difficult votes. She opposed the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023, raising concerns about federal spending priorities. At the same time, she supported international aid. She combined sharp intelligence with fearless advocacy, earning attention for both her policy positions and her fiery speeches. Washington was a new battlefield, but she navigated it with the same passion and determination that had defined her career from the very beginning. By 2024, Jasmine Crockett had become more than a congresswoman. She was a national figure. Her speeches on the House floor were bold and unfiltered, often going viral online. Videos of her calling out powerful figures, showing evidence from investigations, or using sharp, memorable phrases spread across social media, earning her a reputation as fearless, outspoken, and unafraid to speak truth to power. Her profile rose even higher when she took the stage at the 2024 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Standing alongside some of the most influential Democrats, she delivered remarks that drew attention not just for their content, but for their clarity, conviction, and passion. Millions of Americans saw Jasmine as someone who could rise above traditional politics, a voice for fairness, justice, and accountability. But with national attention came controversy. In March 2025, at a Human Rights Campaign dinner, she called Texas Governor Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels, while criticizing migrant transfer policies, a comment that ignited debate and news coverage. Online, she became a lightning rod. Supporters praised her bravery and wit, admiring her for holding leaders accountable. Critics called her outlandish, accusing her of being provocative for attention. Through it all, Jasmine's approach remained the same: speak boldly, fight passionately, and never back down. Her viral moments weren't accidents. They were an extension of her personality and her strategy. She had learned that to create change in a fast-moving, attention-driven world, you needed to be fearless, unfiltered, and unforgettable. Jasmine Crockett's bold style, while admired by many, also drew criticism. Reports from former staffers painted a picture of a demanding and sometimes difficult work environment. Some described her as abrupt or harsh, occasionally clashing with aides over minor issues. Others noted high staff turnover and long periods where she preferred to work from her Dallas apartment rather than her Washington office. Publicly, she was no less fiery. Her exchanges with colleagues in Congress, especially Republicans, often went viral. One of the most talked about incidents involved Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who made a personal remark about another lawmaker. Jasmine didn't hold back, confronting the comment with sharp, biting words that were instantly shared across social media. These moments cemented her reputation as unafraid to stand up to anyone, no matter their power or influence. Critics argued that her personality sometimes overshadowed her policy work, while supporters said her outspokenness was exactly what Washington needed. Strategists like James Carville even warned that focusing on her persona over policy could hurt her Senate ambitions. Yet Jasmine remained steadfast. She refused to soften her approach for the sake of popularity. Through the praise, the criticism, and the viral clashes, one thing became clear. Jasmine Crockett was a lawmaker who played by her own rules. She embraced the challenges, understanding that fighting for change often came with conflict, scrutiny, and controversy. Aiming to challenge Republican Senator John Cornyn. The announcement was bold and unapologetic. She released a campaign video that directly addressed criticism from former President Donald Trump, using his own words to highlight her resilience. Standing with arms crossed, smiling confidently, Jasmine sent a clear message. She was ready to fight, and she was ready to win. Her campaign focused on the issues that mattered most to her constituents: affordability, justice, healthcare, and representation. Jasmine emphasized that her run was not about personal ambition, it was about giving voters a voice. She positioned herself as a candidate willing to stand up to entrenched power, to fight for progress, and to break barriers in a state where Democrats had struggled to win statewide offices. Texas had not elected a Democratic senator since 1994, and the political environment was challenging. But Jasmine's strategy was clear: leverage her national profile, inspire younger and minority voters, and use her fearless style to gain attention and momentum. She was unafraid of confrontation, using every viral moment, every bold statement, and every debate as an opportunity to connect with voters and push her message. For Jasmine Crockett, the Senate campaign was more than an election. It was the next chapter in a story defined by courage, persistence, and the refusal to back down. If she won, it wouldn't just be a personal victory. It could make history, reshaping the political landscape in Texas and sending a message to the nation. Behind the headlines and political battles, Jasmine Crockett is shaped by her roots and personal values. She remains deeply connected to her faith, proudly identifying as a Baptist. Her spiritual life is not just personal, it informs her sense of justice, her drive to help others, and her commitment to standing up for the vulnerable. Jasmine is also a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, a historic organization that emphasizes sisterhood, leadership, and community service. Her involvement reflects her dedication to giving back and supporting causes that uplift others, from education to civil rights. Outside of politics and law, Jasmine enjoys a life that balances ambition with reflection. She invests time in her community, mentors young people, and cultivates a sense of resilience that has carried her through every challenge. Despite national attention and viral moments, she has maintained a personal code: fight boldly, speak clearly, and never forget where you came from. Friends and colleagues often describe her as passionate, determined, and uncompromising, but also as someone with warmth, humor, and a quick mind. These qualities have helped her navigate the toughest challenges in law and politics while staying true to herself. Jasmine Crockett's personal life is more than a backdrop to her career. It is the foundation. Her faith, family values, and dedication to service shape every decision she makes, giving her the courage to confront injustice and the clarity to pursue her vision for a better future. Crockett's journey is a story of courage, resilience, and relentless ambition. From a young girl in St. Louis to a public defender, a state lawmaker, and now a rising star in Congress, she has shown that one person's voice can make a difference. She challenges the powerful, stands up for the underrepresented, and refuses to stay silent in the face of injustice. Her impact goes beyond legislation. She has inspired a generation of young people, especially women and minorities, to believe that leadership is possible, no matter the obstacles. Her bold speeches, viral moments, and unapologetic stance have made her a national figure, a symbol of determination, integrity, and fearless advocacy. Senate and continues to shape the political landscape, Jasmine Crockett's story is far from over. One thing is clear: she is a force that cannot be ignored. Her life reminds us that standing up for what is right, even when it is difficult or controversial, can change not only a career, but the world around you. Jasmine Crockett is more than a politician. She is a storyteller of justice, a champion for the people, and a rising figure whose journey is just beginning. The story continues, and so does the fight. That's all for today. Thank you for sticking around till the end. If this video added some value for you, consider subscribing and tapping the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support means a lot.